as we can all see. As we can all see, I'm not technologically savvy in the least. I apologize for that. So let me start all over back at the beginning. This is not a Tai Bo class. It's not a Tai Bo class. It's not a repeat after me, do as I do. A lot of us right now can't make it to a dojo, mostly because our schools are closed down. A lot of us may not have distance to a good dojo. Basically, there's just not a good one in the neighborhood, not a good one within driving distance. So this is not going to be a Tai Bo class. Do as I do, repeat after me type class. This is going to help you and give you drills and techniques to practice on your own. I tell my traditionalists all the time, you don't become a martial artist in the dojo. You become a martial artist at home. By putting in the time, by putting in the repetitions over and over and over. That's what makes a martial artist a martial artist. Not, hey, I showed up to class, I did it 5 times. So, what this class is going to be doing is giving you drills, tips, tools to add into your own workouts. For those of you, I know we have a few of y'all that are not students. For those of you that want to be students, we are starting to test people online due to this recent issues. So if you want to be a student, feel free to message me afterwards or message me in the comments with your email address, and I'll get back to you and give you more information on how to become a student. For my current students, thank you for joining in. Once again, add these to your drills. So we're going to start off Krav Maga at the beginning, assuming nobody here's done anything. I know I have a few of y'all that were students years ago, moved away. Welcome back. Let's get going. So Krav Maga basically has 2 stances. We have our ready stance. You know, a lot of us in traditional, this is our ready stance. You notice? Not much different. By ready stance, I mean this is the way you stand on your everyday, in your everyday life. Keep that 6-foot distance. Not because of COVID, we did it first for self-defense. 6 foot is just good self-defense range. No hands in the pockets, chilling. You're in a nice, relaxed stance. Ready to go. And then of course we have our fighting stance. Here, whether you like left side forward, I myself am a dominant side forward guy. So both feet pointed at 22.5 degrees angles, square on my opponent, hands up in a defensive posture. Hands over. Man, calm down, you don't want to do this. You know, a lot of people have the tendency of blading off when they fight. Because of my traditional background, that's what I do. The problem with this is, if you look at Bob, when he's bladed, I can strike from the front, I can strike from the rear, I can strike from all angles. But the second I square off with my opponent in front of him, here, I just eliminated half his targets. You know, I want you to run this scenario through your mind. If you were going to hit me right now, where are you going to hit me? With my hands here, chances are you're not going to come from the sides. You're going to come down the middle line. Because that's what I have open. So from the beginning of the fight, I have the control. From any bystanders to my upcoming trial for defending myself, I'm in a defensive posture. Man, calm down. You don't want to fight. It's not what you want to do. But what I want you to think about is look at the distance. Look at how far he has to come through my guard to do any damage to me. So, let's start from the beginning, stance, and fighting stance. This is where we're going to be practicing most of our drills. First, let's go ahead and warm up our arms. Tonight we're going to spend 99.9% of the time on our arms. So, arm rolls forward. Say, give me a 5, good, 10 count. Going backwards, excuse me, and apologize for my kiddos in the background. I got my niece, I got my son, it's his birthday, he wanted a playmate. They're being a little bit wild right now. Arm rolls going backwards. Elbows. Going the other way. Wrist rolls. Wrist rolls going backwards. Good. Finger flexes. Going to throw them open, throw them closed in a nice tight fist. I want to see if I can get this on film. A lot of times when people make a fist, it looks good. But let's be honest, what's going to make contact with my opponent first? My cracked knuckles or my knuckles that are going to break? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on film. When you make a fist, your hands should be changing color. Yeah, too much of a delay, I can't tell. But it is a nice tight fist, nice tight fist. So, palms together, using your chest, you're going to push. Just really focus on that chest, pushing your hands together. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. Yeah, there's the delay. Yeah, you can't see a real good color change. The lighting's bad. Alternate heights. Push. Once again, just focusing on your chest. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. Going low. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. Once again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Now you're going to hook your hands, focusing just on the back, pulling your hands apart. Really focus on those back muscles. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. One more time. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Relax. Hey, to your room, keep it down. Sorry, they were getting a little bit wild. Okay, once again, start from a ready stance, stepping into a fighting stance. Most important technique first, lead hand jab. Once again, notice how when I punch, I drive off the ground, other hand up, protecting the face, nice tight fist. So, very simply, lead hand jab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And once again, keep this as hard as you want it. Maybe one night you just want to focus on speed, just getting it out there, throwing technique out the window. Maybe some nights you want to slow it down, focused just on technique. Feel free to mix up your workouts. Lead hand elbow, thumb, pin to your shoulder, striking with the hips. Notice I don't swing my shoulder, I don't swing my arms around. It's just a pivot. Make sure you're keeping that hand open, flat. That way you're striking with the bone and not with the muscle encasing the bone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Other side, roundhouse punch. Once again, just focusing on the hips, not swinging the arm. That's how you tear a rotator cuff. When you're coming around, hand up and down, forearm parallel to the ground, elbow should be behind the fist. If your elbow's down, you're gonna hit, come down. If it's up, hit, come up. An object of motion stays in motion. You wanna keep it nice and horizontal to the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. Practice it high. If you want to go low, say aiming for the kidney shots. Good rule of thumb, where are your kidneys? Most people, they get in the ballpark. But let's look at it this way. Kidneys are where the elbows hang. So my elbows are here, kidneys are here in the back. A lot of people think they're on the side, they're on the back. But they are elbow height. So when you're throwing a roundhouse punch to the kidneys, they have the tendency of once again, elbows down. You're gonna hit, fist at a wrong angle, torque your wrist, elbow's gonna keep going, or they, what do I call it? They Popeye it, boom. Or they bring their hand out, raising their elbow. Here, boom, nice and tight if you're going to the kidneys. Once again, Krav Maga in English, contact combat. Contact combat, which means if I am in a real fight, chances are, yeah, as a traditionalist, this is where I want to fight. You notice that the second I start fighting, I immediately switch to my traditional side. If I am in a fight, yeah, this is where I want. Realistically though, this is where the fight is going to take place. So, you need to control your distance. So if we're this close, boom, nice and tight. Nice and tight. You don't want nice, big, arching techniques because now you're off balance. No balance, no power. No balance, no power. We're going to do lead hand, spear hand, jab next, which basically somebody's good way to teach is. Picture a Bob here coming up for a choke. Boom, right there. Notice I get full extension of my arm, completely turning. Other hand up, protecting my face. Now he has to drive my fingers through his esophagus to try to choke me. So it's here. So as you're going, make sure you get full extension of that arm. Good thing if you want to start practicing at home, this takes a while. A lot of people make a spear hand like this. You'll notice that every time I do it, my fingers are here. I would much rather connect with these three than that one. And secondly, by doing this, if I do hit something hard, like say a jaw, my fingers will curl down, preventing them from breaking, rather than curling up. So this is a good drill to start practicing. Lead hand, spear hand, jab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once again, you can focus on that, making sure all three fingers straight together. Before we move on to moving drills, we cannot do a Krav class without groin, period. No groin, no Krav Maga. No groin, no Krav Maga. So we're going to do the standard Krav Maga striking drill. Groin, head, hammer fist. So you can do it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Switch. In case you're wondering what I'm doing with my hands. Bob here is coming up for a big haymaker punch. I'm blocking and striking, grabbing him at the back, stepping backwards, pulling him off balance, groin, head, hammer fist. So that's why my hands are on his, or here, on his back. So, oh good and long enough the I could see what side I was on. Now the left, groin, head, hammer fist, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's enough for the warm up. Now, sorry, phone's making noises. What we're going to be focusing on is some moving drills. Too many times we think that in Krav, once you're here, once you're on your opponent, that's it. You stand here and strike. We don't move enough. A lot of times I have my students raise their feet to prove that they're not cemented to the ground. You notice every strike that I do, every strike, my feet are moving. You always have to be moving. So first drill we're going to be doing, striking with the lead hand, jab. If you didn't watch this video, it's on our YouTube, go back and watch it. Jab, in my opinion, most important technique of anything. So, go back and watch that video. Jab is important. But we're going to be moving forward. So starting backward, striking with the jab. As usual, or striking, driving forward, stepping with the lead leg, bringing up your rear leg. Notice that my front foot moves 6 inches, my back foot moves 6 inches. My front foot moves a foot, my back foot moves a foot. So keep your spacing. Starting with right leg forward, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Reset. 1, 2, 3. Reset. One more. 1, 2, 3. Reset. Left side. 1, 2, 3. Reset. And you can mix this up. Maybe you just did jab the other day. Now you want to work on some palm strikes. 1, 2, 3. Reset. 1, 2, 3. Now moving backwards. Sometimes there is truth to having a tactical retreat. I know in Krav Maga we say all the time, always forward, never backwards. What happens if it's not one-on-one? And there's 14 people in that direction. Sometimes it is going to make sense to move backwards. So now, we're going to be striking with the lead hand, driving backwards with our rear leg. Here, here. So, starting with right leg forward, striking with the lead, moving the rear first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reset. Once again, feel free to mix it up. I know in Krav I told you, spear hand is going to the throat. One of my favorite techniques from being a traditionalist is spear hand to the body. Whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's there. So maybe you want to add a spear hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or maybe just fingers to the eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, back foot moves 6 inches, front foot moves 6 inches. Switch feet. Maybe add in a palm strike. 1, 2, 3, 4. Reset. I really don't see a hook because hook is really close, but feel free to add other techniques. 1, 2, 3, 4, reset. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, that's another drill. Forward, backwards. But don't let it stop there. Don't let it stop there. Too many times we turn a fight into a fencing match. Y'all don't know a fencing match takes place on, please guys, I'll get the dimensions. A 2, 3 foot wide linear piece of carpet. They move down, they move back. They move down, they move back. We got a full 360 to play with. Utilize it. This last drill is to help you cut the angle. Cut the angle. You hear me talk about this a lot in Israeli knife fighting, but cutting the angle is a very, very important skill. What do I mean by that? So Bob here is in front of me. Bob here is in front of me. So if I want to cut the angle moving forward, notice that once again I'm going to be striking with the lead hand. Here I'm stepping with the lead foot, bringing my other foot up. So cutting the angle, I want you to imagine you have a rope tied to your back foot, tied to a pulley, tied to a Camaro. I don't know, I couldn't think of a car right now. And it's just hauling ass in the other direction. So as you step here, I want you to cut the angle, boom, pulling off his center line. Now for him to continue fighting me, he has to turn. I'm still squaring my opponent, but I took the advantage away from him. So a good way to practice this is you continue the striking that we're doing. Strike, cut the angle. Strike, cut the angle. Make sure that when you cut the angle, you are driving off that rear foot. That rear foot is where the power comes from. Not using your hips and your quads to lift your leg up, but that calf. So now let's do the other side. Once again, striking, moving forward. Strike, cut the angle. Strike, cut the angle. Strike, cut the angle. Strike, cut the angle. Now, I know this is hard to imagine, but it is a very important drill. Once again, as I'm striking here, I am cutting the angle. So for my opponent to re-engage me, he has to turn. So how do I determine which way to turn? You don't. You gotta let the situation dictate the way you turn. So let's imagine Bob is throwing a left hand haymaker at me. I step in and block and strike to the face. So I'm here, once again, driving with the lead foot, cutting the angle. Why did I move this way? This is the hand I just blocked. I'm moving away from his striking hand. Now let's say Bob is throwing a right hand haymaker. Now I'm going to step in and block, cutting the angle, stepping away from his opposite hand. This is a great drill to practice. Add it. Too many times our feet are glued down to the floor and we don't use them. Not only that, modern day footwear is not conducive to martial arts training. There are a lot of muscles in your feet that have atrophied over the years from ill use. I won't forget I did construction for about 12, 14 years while I was doing martial arts. And they came out with Vibram toe shoes. I love those shoes. Of course, they don't make them in my size, so I had to get the Vibram water shoes to wear shoes. But I wore them to work. Mind you, I did martial arts for 5, 6 years before this. You know, 2 days a week for 5 years without missing a class. Even through cracked ribs. Didn't miss class. 2 days in those shoes and my feet were killing me. Just from the muscles that have atrophied from non-use. That's why you will hardly ever see me in anything other than flip-flops. Just because there's so many muscles in our feet that do not get used. Holy cow, guys, that is actually time. Hey, just like in my traditional class, we close out class with a question of the night. Question of the night. You don't ask me a question, it's going to be the honor system. I will give you a drill to practice on your own as a punishment. So make sure you get those questions in. I'll give it a couple minutes while I talk to wrap things up, but I need to see a question in the comments. Other than that, once again, the drills, moving forward, alternating hand techniques, whether you want to do a round punch, an uppercut, a palm strike, moving forward. Moving backwards, same deal. Palm strike, roundhouse punch. I don't see the point in it, but hey, to each their own. Fingers to the eyes, spear hand jab, add that. Cutting the angle, whether you're moving forward here, cut the angle, whether you're moving backwards here, cut the angle. Cut the angle is a great drill to add. No question of the night. So if everybody could, on their own, at home, guys, honor system, please do it. All the way down, squat, jump, knees to the chest, 10. That's all I'm asking for after the video, 10. Guys, once again, great class. I'm getting a little bit more used to this teaching to a tripod. It's not my favorite medium, but we're martial artists, we got to adapt. Oh, I got a question. Yes. I will buy that as a question. I'll buy that as a question. I want a stumper though, just if you tune into our next class. Hardest question I got is, what is a kebab? I actually did not know. I did not know the answer to that one. Turns out kebab is kind of evolved at the same time Krav Maga did. And it's just Krav Maga, no offense, was so much more intuitive, so much more fleshed out, I guess you could say, that it kind of overtook kebab. But those are the questions that I like. I like hard to answer questions. Another question that actually I had to scratch my head for a couple seconds. I have an air pilot instructor for customs. And she said, what do you do if the person she's instructing grabs a stick and shoves it to the floor and puts the plane into a nosedive? What do you do? Great question. Great question. So, but slow-mo. Slow-mo. Driving off the back foot. Sorry, that's the little ones in the background getting antsy. Driving off the back foot. You are just going to drive your feet, boom, off the angle, pivoting on the ball of the foot of the lead foot. So once again, driving off that back foot, pivoting on the lead one. Other side, I hope you can see, I'm trying to back up so you can see the angle. If not, message me afterwards and I have no problem sending you a video of my feet so you can see what I'm doing. So once again, driving off of this back foot, I am cutting the angle, just pivoting. One more time, driving off this foot, cutting the angle. Guys, I cannot stress to you how important cutting the angle is. And not just for knife fighting. I know we do this a lot in knife fighting, but too many times we try to take our opponent head on. When 9 times out of 10 it is so much easier just to step off their center line. Think about it this way. It is hard for you to get used to it. Imagine them having to get used to it in the heat of the moment. It's a game changer, guys. So, other than that, guys, thank you. I hope everybody enjoyed this Krav class. Please feel free to leave comments. I'm always open to criticism. If you have any suggestions, what I could do to make this better, don't hesitate to let me know. Do not hesitate. I don't hide my email. I actually don't even hide my phone number. I mean, it's right there on the top of the website. So feel free to leave me criticisms, comments, or concerns. Other than that, I hope you follow us on YouTube. This video will be up for you to add to your own workouts in the next couple days. So like us, please leave a comment, please subscribe. Other than that, y'all have a great evening.